The other point to mention in terms of common mistakes in wudu is wasting water. This is something which is extremely important that we should stay away from. Many of the scholars have written about this at length. Wudu from a tap, as opposed to making wudu from a jug and a container, that a person uses 3/4 more water whilst using a tap. That the amount of water that a person actually needs to make wudu is really only a quarter. So when we are using a tap, 3/4 of the water that actually comes out of the tap is wasted. Only 1/4 is actually used for wudu. And the Prophet ﷺ in many ahadith emphasized that we should not waste water. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions Inna Allah la yuhibbul musrifin, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not like those that are wasteful, and a person will be held accountable for the water that they waste on the Day of Judgment. So a sincere advice here is that we are not wasteful of water, and we are careful how we use water. And that is in many ways, if we are using a tap, then we fill one hand with water and we turn the tap off, and then we put the hands together, for example, and wash the face. It's also mentioned that when we are putting water into our nose, for example, that we don't need a full handful of water. Half a handful of water is sufficient to clean the nose. So in all of these aspects, and all of the aspects of wudu, we should be careful as to not waste too much water. Another mistake that people may make in wudu is with respect to washing of the face. The washing of the face is extremely important because it's one of the 4 obligatory parts of wudu. The washing of the face should take place from where the hairline is to just below the chin, and from earlobe to earlobe. And a person needs to cover every single part of the face and make sure that no part is missed and no part is free from flowing water. Now, some of the common places that are missed on the face are the eyes, for example, around this area, under the nose, under the lips. The other aspects to mention, which are extremely important that people need to bear in mind, are the other fara'id. Those are the arms, and that should be from the fingertips to up to and including the elbows. Many people miss out the elbows, their elbows remain dry. And it is in fact mustahab, it is recommended that a person washes further up to halfway up to their upper arm if they can. This ensures and makes sure that at least the obligatory portion is covered. Also, in the masah of the head, that people should make sure that they wipe at least 1/4 of the head, and it is sunnah to cover the whole head when doing the masah of the head. And the final point to remind our brothers and sisters about is the washing of the feet. That in between the toes, a person should pass the little finger on their left hand in between their toes, because the toes naturally are closed together. And if a person just rinses or runs their feet under a tap or some running water, water will not run in between the toes, and a person's toes will remain dry in between, and their wudu will not be accepted so, and their worship will not be accepted so. To pass the little finger in between the toes, and to also just run the hand underneath the sole of the foot, just to make sure that there isn't anything stuck.